Well, we have come a very, very long way here in the Adrenaline iRacing League. Tonight, there is just 134 laps remaining in the season to decide a champion. Hello and welcome one and all to LSR TV and the virtual Homestead-Miami Speedway for the final race in the ARL season number 2. I'm Miller Rempo, bringing you coverage for tonight with Jeff Stabnow beside me here in the commentary box. Now, Jeff, it has been what a season it's been, first off, and boy has it gone by in a hurry. Presently, Ryan Hart is holding the lead with Shane Therian 85 points behind him. In order to clinch the victory, Therian will need to lead the most laps, win the stage, and have Hart's finish 12th or lower. So Therian, let's just say, he's got his work cut out tonight if he's going to go for that title, and he might be hoping that maybe Lady Luck can come into play here tonight as well.
Yeah, as I fast and furiously try to catch up on things here with this lead, just going over the past results, and Ryan Hart's winner of the last 3 mile and a half. So you've got to think that he's a huge favorite here, which means Shane Therian there's even got a bigger uphill climb than in most instances, because Ryan Hart's looks like he's pretty dominant on these mile and a halves.
Oh, absolutely, and Ryan Hart has definitely been the place to look in the playoffs for sure. I mean, you know, he had a decent running at Eldora last week, and then of course at Talladega, he actually did not have the best run, got wrecked out in one of the first cautions, but it was not enough to put him out of the title fight. And right now, it's looking like this championship is going to be all in the hands of that number 3, barring any pressing issues tonight, which of course that would be the one thing that would really mess Hart's up. But with him at the top of the standings right now in terms of our practice lap times, I would definitely say that Therian, he might have to just throw in the towel for this one.
Well, I don't think drivers work that way. I doubt you're going to get one to just throw in the towel. Probably not one as competitive as Therian anyways. I did cover Therian a little bit in a league a few years back here with Charles, and Therian was extremely competitive with some pretty high-end drivers, a couple who are in the Coke Series now, as a matter of fact. And he used to compete with him. So I have no doubt that Therian is going to give it all that he's got here. He's a very competitive driver. And I think I was just watching one of your past broadcasts trying to catch up. And I've got to ask you a question while we're talking about Therian here. Is it true this guy races on a controller?
Yes, it is. We've discovered it is true, races on a controller. So how he's second place in points, well, none of us have any clue.
My mind is just blown right now. I can't even imagine just competing in the lowest of lowest rookie races with a controller. And then with the tire model we have right now and the precision that it takes to just not burn those right fronts up, I don't know how you do it on a controller and do it at the level that Therian does it at, man. That is just mind-blowing.
I'll trying to win a dirt race at Eldora, because that's what he had to do last week, and I think if he did not win that one, he came really close to doing so. And well, it's going to be a very interesting race tonight for sure. 134 laps, of course. We do have that stage break just at the halfway point in this race, so lap number 67, I believe, going to be that halfway stage break. We've been again, the fuel tanks are limited to 60%, meaning we're expecting the fuel window to be about 26 to 30 laps. Kind of a rough estimate there is what we were thinking for now. So, you know, the track temperatures are again looking at 80 degrees Fahrenheit, 78 degrees Fahrenheit in the air. So looks like tire wear might not be the largest factor in today's race.
Yeah, with that restricted fuel window and, you know, a nighttime race, cooler track temperatures, I'm not sure. Looks like we've got a fair amount of rubber on the track. You wouldn't expect tire wear to be that big of a thing. However, with this new tire model, you know, if you just straight up go out and abuse it and you just go out there and run this thing as hard as you can, you know, you're going to start seeing some fall off 10, 12 laps in. So, maybe tire wear is not going to be the great decider on this. May come down to pit strategy even. But, you know, tire wear, you're still going to have to manage these tires a little bit. You're going to have to pay attention. You've got the progressive banking here at Homestead. You know, I know you kind of want to keep it in the rubber. There's times where you can maybe jump up there and ride the wall a little bit or ride that outer line a little bit more and get a nice run down the straightaway. And it's tempting, but you can put some heat in those tires. So, all that maybe with a full tank of gas comes into play more. You've got to be more concerned with it. Here a little bit less, but I think it's still in the back of your mind as a driver and something you've got to pay attention to.
Checkered flag has flown on practice, meaning we are now getting set to go qualifying here once again in Florida here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Robert Kenny in the 34 machine, the first truck right now out on course, and right behind him he's got Steve Durham on the track as well, Logan Brakey, Dustin Dittrich, Drew Ashley, Tanner Johnson, and others filing out behind as well. But it will be Robert Kenny to bring around for that first qualifying time today. Drivers got 2 attempts at it. We can be expecting times for the pole has to be in the low 32s, low 32 twos, maybe high 32 ones. Of course, Ryan Hart set a 32.157 over in practice. We'll have to see if he can match that or improve on that in qualifying here tonight.
Yeah, fixed set, so we don't have any kind of special sets for qualifying. We don't have any tape up here. It's a 2-lap qualifier. It's not one of these tracks where you need 2 laps to get up to speed or anything, so you can set your fastest lap. Some drivers will opt to set it on the first one. I know that I've had a little bit of luck kind of babying those tires to get them up to heat on the first time lap coming around, so don't scrub anything off those tires. Get your out lap, warm the tires up a little bit, and then go for it on the third. But if you do that, the second time lap, if you do it that way, you get a little bit better tires, but there's no room for error. You can't touch a wall, you can't slide the tires or anything, or you end up in the back of the pack.
Justin Teal currently top of the boards, the 32.2A1 in the number 32 truck. He is currently trying to put in a second lap. Might have bailed out, though. Did not have a good run through 1 and 2, so Teal is going to bail out right there. Christian Gomez right behind him with the 32.317. He's also trying to improve. Gomez currently about half a tenth off of his fastest practice lap. Pushing right up to the wall in turn number 4. Gonna manage to keep it out of the wall, though. Will he be able to improve on his lap? In fact, he will. A 32.289. Just 8 thousandths of a second off of pole position. Not going to be quite enough, though. He might have some competition from behind. He still got over half the drivers that are looking to get in their fast laps.
Yeah, and I believe we've got the number 38 out on the track right now. Shane Terry, one of the guys that we're going to be watching tonight. He was second fastest in practice as he comes to the line here to take his first lap. Right up there against the wall. Looks like he's got a pretty good line. He's putting those tires right down on the seam, which is where you want to be for this. Amazing again that this guy does this with a controller. I guess I'll have to get over it here pretty quick, but he comes to turn down the back stretch here, coming to turn 3 and 4. We'll see what kind of time he can put in. Again, he was the second fastest guy in practice, so we expect to see pretty good qualifying effort from him, and he needs it. He absolutely has to win just about everything tonight if he's going to have a chance at the championship. And Shane Terrian crosses the line there. Second place with a 32.201, just barely off pace here behind Ryan Hartz, who put up the fastest time there while we were watching Terrian.
Hartz with a 192 in the 32-second bracket, so still trying to pull ahead of Shane Therian and just barely keep that pole position out of his reach. Therian now rounding 3 and 4, trying to come around for the final time off of turn number 4, and will this be enough to beat out Ryan Hart? That's going to be the big ticket question. It will not. A 32.248 for a second lap. Lost a bit of time. Not going to be able to get that one in there today. Ryan Hart's bailed out at his second lap as well. One other driver still on the track, Calvin Gretorix, currently rounding the track as well. He has yet to put in a lap period as well. Just a minute left in qualifying, so drivers like Austin Gretorix and Trevor Blythe, they really have to get a move on if they're going to be getting those laps in.
And I'm glad you took Calvin's name before there. I butchered it. So Calvin Gretorix here coming around to take his first lap. Looks like everybody else is opting to just start at the end of the line tonight. We'll see what Calvin Gretorix is able to do here on his first lap.
Calvin Gretorix definitely still trying to, well, he put in the 32.407 on his first lap, which is good enough for 11th place. No doubt he will be trying to improve as well. Drips up, and he's in the outside wall, so he's going to have to settle with that 407. Not going to be getting that second lap. Of course, it was invalidated after he hit the wall. Still got a couple drivers that are sitting in the pits and are not going to be going out onto the racing surface, so only driver on track right now is Robert Kenny, who, well, as true to the tradition right now, is sitting just shy of that start finish line, likely going to cross over it either now or just after that checker flag flies, which is now out on qualifying. There he is, crossing the line, and not going to get a lap in at all. If he did, it would definitely be one to rival the slowest lap time ever for even the road course side of things. But let's cross things on over to your starting grid. Ryan Hart's currently on that pole position with Shane Therian down in second place. So your top 10 points locking out row number 1. Tyler Tomasi and Justin Teal in third and fourth, with Christian Gomez in fifth, Dylan Browning sixth, Justin Dittrich seventh, Trenton Jump in eighth, Tanner Johnson and Drew Ashley round out the top 10. Take us away with the rest of the field here, Jeff.
Yes, in 11th place, we got Calvin Gredricks. In 12th place, we've got Bronson Stafford. Starting P13, we've got Jared Mathau. And in 14th, we've got Steve Durham. We've got Matt Dyer and Eric Stamp in 15th and 16th. Logan Brakey and Alex Walter in 16th, P16 and P17. I think I got that backwards. Logan Brakey in 17, Alex Walter in 18. We've got Robert Kenny starting in 19th, and in 20th we've got Austin Gredricks, and starting in last place here at P21, we've got Trevor Blythe.
Trevor Blythe rounding out the 21 truck field, and well, looks like just about everybody is gridded up. It's looking like Blythe might not even take the grid today, as right now Robert Kenny is last place on the drivers that are gridded up. Austin Gredricks and Trevor Blythe, again, two drivers that didn't even leave the pits on their opening on their first qualifying lap. So it's interesting to see, a couple drivers not electing to go for that qualifying lap, especially since Homestead is a track that's known for not having the most caution. So you'd think having a good starting position would be crucial here, because you've got, it could be a difficult track to pass on once tire wear starts to kick in. It's known for not having a lot of caution. So like I said, might go down to the pit strategy. So you'd think starting position, that'd be pretty important at a track like this.
Well, for me, I'm going to take starting position every time, but there's multiple reasons why a guy might want to start him back. I agree with you. Homestead known for not having a lot of cautions. Drivers get pretty spread out, but it's possible some of these guys have a bad connection, or they're new to the series or something, and don't necessarily want to start off in heavy traffic. Just kind of want to get a feel for the track, feel for the race, and then see where they're at before they go up there and start mixing it up. But agree with you 100%. If you want to be competitive in this race, I think you want to start in as front of many cars as you can.
That seems to be the message that Ryan Hartz and Shane Therian are going with. And, well, they did lock out that front row. Again, Hartz needs to finish in 12th or lower, and he needs to allow Therian to lead the most laps and win the race in order, and win the stage, actually, in order for Therian to be able to get a run at that championship. So Ryan Hartz, all he's got to do is just keep that nose clean, and he's going to be all set for this season finale here. Still, though, championship is not quite settled yet. Off of turn number 4, the pace car going to make that dive down to the pit lane, and now it's in the hands of Ryan Hartz. It's been one heck of a season. Time to finish it off strong. Green flag drops. We're racing in Florida.
Yeah, absolutely. Ryan Hartz and Shane Therian side by side here going into turn 1. Looks like Ryan Hartz is going to clear him on the inside. Shane Therian right now just content to drop down behind him and take that P2 position here. Looks like the first few drivers at least have single filed out. We've got to go a few back before we see anybody double wide right now.
Christian Gomez trying to throw one up the inside of Tyler Tomasi. That is the move for 4th place, and unfortunately Gomez wasn't able to quite get the nose there. Had to slot in behind the number 76 machine. Still some drivers trying to duck around, maybe make some early spots. I see in the back Justin Dittrich pulling one up the inside of Dylan Browning. Browning getting right up to what few marbles there are right now on that top groove, and he's going to lose that spot. Might lose another one here to Tanner Johnson up front again. You got Christian Gomez, who's still looking at the inside of Tyler Tomasi, and now the 48 car is going to be fully alongside the 76. One truck sliding, Dittrich going around, and he's going to save that, but two more trucks hard to the outside wall in the back. That was Calvin Gredricks and Jared Matheo that went hard into the outside wall.
Yeah, we lost one engine there on one of the trucks. I think that was Calvin Gredricks that lost the engine there. Just amazing save there by the 00 truck of Justin Dittrich. Looked like somebody got in the back of him, turned him almost completely sideways, caught a little bit of apron. They're able to save it, but unfortunately the checkup behind him caught a couple guys. But being at the back of the pack and not coming out in front of the racing cars, we stay green on this one, and these guys are going to be forced to deal with that while the race stays green.
Indeed they will. So Dittrich definitely got out of that one very, very lucky. He's slotting in behind Matt Dyer, still looking double file up in front. Robert Kennedy goes down the inside of Eric Stamp into the middle of the corner, and well, they're still looking double file here in this field. I see Drew Ashley and Logan Brakey that are still side by side for position. Right behind them, you got Matt Dyer trying to look under Tanner Johnson for another spot. Up front, though, the battle on for third place. Christian Gomez trying the outside of Ryan Hartz, who has lost the lead here. This is a good start for Therian. If he can lead the most laps, he just needs to hope that Hartz can drop back a few more spots. Gomez going to try to pull the outside line through turns 1 and 2. Question is, will he be able to make that one work off the corner? It doesn't look like that momentum with the outside lane is coming in quite yet.
Yeah, it doesn't look that outside line's there quite yet. And I guess the question is going to be, Terry, how hard does Ryan Hartz fight this one tonight, right? If all he's got to do to win this championship is finish 12th place, that's the only thing he has to do tonight, 12th place or higher. How hard do you fight these guys to stay up front? It's going to be hard, right? The competitor in nobody wants to win a championship and not win the race. So the competitor in him wants to get up front, win the race. Probably the safest place to be is up front. But when you're back in traffic here a little bit like this and under assault like he is from Gomez tonight, I guess my question is if you're Ryan Hartz, how much of a fight do you want to put up, and how precarious of a spot do you want to put yourself in?
Well, clearly Hartz is still wanting to go for spots because he's now on the inside of Shane Therian. So side by side for the lead of turn number 4 as we cross over onto lap number 7. Hartz is still trying to find something along that inside line. It gets a bit close on the engine of 1, but he's going to get clear off of turn number 2, and that is going to put Shane Therian back down into second place. So big shame there for him. And, well, Therian's going to have to work his way up and try yet again. Bit of a shot to the bumper, it looked like there from Gomez to Therian. Therian still trying to find something as well, and nearly hooks all of those drivers up to the outside wall.
Yeah, Ryan Hartz definitely answered that question. Not only did he get by Gomez, but he powered by Therian for the lead. Now Therian's under assault from Gomez here, who sticks a nose to the inside and looks to get by him here. I'm not sure if he's going to get him on this one. Therian able to hold him off on that top line, but these first 3 drivers really mixing it up. And, of course, this is what Ryan Hartz wants to see out of his mirror right now. He wants these guys to get a little more side-by-side action in there so he can get away. But Therian having none of it as he drives that Toyota Tundra right up to that bumper cam. And I think we can count all the bugs in that grill right now.
Therian going to try to make another look for the lead. He knows he needs to lead these laps if he's going to have even a shot at going for the title here tonight. To get that nose ahead, Hart's not going to fight him too much around the outside. Going to let himself drop back. Realistically, Hartz can drop back to the back of this field and stay there for the remainder of the race, and he would still have this championship won. He's going to actually back out again to let Gomez out into the front as well. So Hartz really wants spots, but he's not too desperate to go for it. Looking 3 wide behind them, though, Bronson Stafford and Steve Durham making some contact as Drew Ashley gets muscled out around the outside line. This is the battle for 9th place, and it's getting all sorts of intense as once again we nearly have our first caution of the night. Durham up the inside, Stafford trying to find something around the outside as well.
Yeah, racing getting pretty intense back there for 8th, 9th, and 10th position. Bronson Stafford under assault there right now with the 4-car right there on his bumper, just about pushing him down that backstretch on the outside. And it looks like Bronson Stafford able to get clear of the 10 there thanks to that giant push for the 4, but they're still side by side behind him and 3 wide behind that.
Indeed, looking almost 3 wide. Alex Walter trying to fight off Matt Dyer. He really got these 6 cars under a blanket. Tanner Johnson trying to find some way up there as well. He's looking to the inside now of Alex Walter. Walter trying to go over under. That's a block from Matt Dyer. That's going to check this field up. Looking 3 wide, potentially into turn number 3, but So far, so steady, and well, so green as well. Here comes Robert Kenny pushing it up the middle, and he's going to get cut off and hang on to it. Kenny left, right, left, and keeps it together. Still 3 wide behind him, with Dietrich being forced out of that middle line by Austin Gretorix.
Racing getting wild. A lot of 3 wide in the back there. They've are actually in the middle of the pack here. They've kind of settled things out just a little bit here, and just as I say that. And the 23 under assault again from the 34 there, and sorry I'm so bad at the names here. I'm trying to catch up on the numbers here. A little bit new to this league, but yeah, 23 car definitely under assault there. 34 looked like he's making the top line work there. Got a little bit of a good run there coming off that last on the outside there down the straightaway. So maybe we see the top line coming in. Now back up to the front where we've got Shane Terry and again in a big battle with Christian Gomez for lead. Shane Terrian again trying to make that outside work as well.
Gomez still trying to come away with 1 race win to end off the season in a final hurrah. Gomez not in contention for this title, so this likely won't be terribly pleasing to Shane. Terrian washes up and nearly takes him out as well. Again, the battles are starting to pick up throughout the field, and that's going to force Gomez to back off, and Ryan Hart's going to get another spot around here as well.
Yeah, Gomez and Hart's now side by side. Hart's able to make quick work of that one, and looks like Gomez, I'm not sure if he picked up a little bit of damage or something, but he's kind of fallen back pretty quick here. Now we've got the 46 of Trenton Jump all over his bumper, looking like he was going to drive underneath him there before he too backed off there a little bit. So single file up front for the time being.
Single file up front, but that doesn't mean that they are not close, because let me tell you what, they are really, really close out there. If you want to see side-by-side battle, though, turn your eyes backwards to Logan Brake, who's under threat from Bronson Stafford behind, and right behind them, Drew Ashley falling victim to a dive bomb from Steve Durham up the inside of turn number 3. Ashley trying to get the switchback off of turn number 4. He's going to get the nose in there, but he's going to be forced to back out as well. Field is starting to split up a little bit more throughout this race, but still, there is some seriously good battles going on all throughout this order.
Yeah, here we are through lap 16, a little over halfway through our first fuel run. And, you know, usually Homestead spreads out, but we've kind of broken into groups here a little bit. We've got groups of 4 or 5. We may have spread out a little bit, but there's some extremely tight battling going on here in these pockets of 4 or 5 guys. And this one with Logan Brakey and Bronson Stafford in it. The 29 car also in there of Logan Brakey. Steve Durham, Bronson Stafford, Drew Ashley. This has been one of the more competitive groups to watch along with the leaders. Meanwhile, speaking of the leaders up front, Ryan Hart's back again challenging for the lead as he gets by Shane Terrian on the inside there. Looks like Shane Terrian actually lifted to kind of let him in. I think he might be going for a little bit of a crossover here, but maybe mistimed it a little bit as he's going to tuck in behind him, and we've got Ryan Hart's back in the lead.
Ryan Hart's back up to the point there and being forced to drop back down to second. So Hart's is showing no signs of slowing down right now, which is exactly what he wants to see, not at all what Shane Terrian wants to see if he's going to have a chance to go for that championship position here today. Double file, 2 rows deep behind for a brief moment, though. Bronson Stafford, Drew Ashley, Steve Durham, and Logan Brakey, 4 cars all under a blanket into turn number 3, fighting hard as they have been since the drop of the green flag. Steve Durham now looking to the inside, maybe on partially defensive for Bronson Stafford. There goes Drew Ashley, who's going to go to the inside into turn number 1. You got to think that at this point, these guys have just been so evenly split up that the only time we're going to see this battle splitting off is when we get to that first pit window.
Yeah, that first pit window's got the opportunity to shake everything up. I think with the new tire model going on there, I think one of the crutches that a lot of guys are leaning on, not crutches, kind of just one of the things you almost have to do here is run a lot of rear brake bias. And we've got a real tough pit entry here at Homestead now where we just come directly off the track. We don't use the old access road to get in the pit road. So if these guys are running some rear brake bias at all, if they backed off that at all to help out those right front tires, you know, we've got the potential for some serious incidents getting into pit road there. It makes it real challenging to get in there. So I think once you get spread out at Homestead, I think that's where you kind of look at maybe for things to shake things up, like you said, was green flag pit stops that we've got coming up here in probably about 7 or 8 laps.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time that complicated pit road entries have caused some shakeups in the order. I mean, well, we saw that actually at the Milwaukee Mile a few times, which was again another race here in the in this little chase, and still those top 3, well, really the top 5 are running about single file right now. Steve Durham just ducking around Trevor Blythe. Blythe is just in the middle of the field now, 19th place and 1 lap down, currently in that lucky dog spot for the number 5. So right now, Blythe is hoping for a caution right now, so he can try to get himself out there. And actually, Bronson Stafford going to pull it off early down into pit road. Looks like green flag pit stops underway for the first time tonight.
Yeah, we've got an early taker for some green flag pit stops here with Bronson Stafford. I didn't see any damage, so I think this is pretty a strategy call to come down and get some fresh tires. And you know, I think some of these guys have fallen off quite a bit here over the course of this run already. So he's going to get some fresh feel goods, get back out there, see if he can't make up a little bit of time here. And I think it's probably a pretty good strategy call to break out of this tight group that he's been stuck fighting with here for the last 20 laps.
Here's the thing, he overshot his pit stall. It wasn't by much, but it was by a bit, which is really going to cost him in the grand scheme of things. Robert Kenny is also down to the lane, which is another thing to note. The pit boxes are concrete, which is a lot harder to stop on compared to the tarmac and the asphalt that the rest of the track is made out of. Robert Kenny is clean into his pit box, but I would not be surprised if Stafford loses out on quite a few spots because he overshot that pit stall. It's an easy thing to do, especially when the tires start to get a bit more worn down, but it's something you always have to be careful of as we look back into the battle for fourth between Justin Thiel and Christian Gomez.
Yeah, and I'm watching things heat up again between Shane Tyrion here and oh, no, I watched the battle you're talking about. The green trucks had me messed up here. So it is Justin Thiel and Christian Gomez. And Justin Thiel taking to the inside there. Thought they were going to make contact. It looked like he almost was able to catch a little bit of that rear, but they're able to keep it straight going down the track. Christian Gomez holds him off on the top side, and Justin Thiel forced to tuck back in line behind him there.
Indeed, Thiel being forced to tuck back in the line. Matt Dyer also down to the lane out of 12th position, while Trevor Blythe has put himself into the outside wall in turn number 2. Has a little bit of a grind, but doesn't go sideways, so we are going to keep this one all clean and green for now. Not a lot of battles going on around the field. And Christian Gomez, though, coming down to the lane. Shane Therian also in as well. So your second place points runner is down. Tyler Tomasi from 6th place is also coming down as well.
Yeah, green flag pit stops well underway here. Again, we'd guessed about 28 laps or so on this, so not too far ahead of things. Lap 26 for Shane Terry and the rest of these guys. This is kind of when I would expect them to start. Maybe just trying to make sure they don't get short pitted a little bit. Be interesting to see how long Ryan Hart stays out there. Again, stage 1 is critical for Shane Terry to win, so we'll see if this pit strategy plays into his desire to get back out there and win that. But I think Ryan Hartz could pretty much seal the championship here if he could just win stage 1 and not even have to worry about what else happened tonight.
Calvin Gretorix has pulled it off the track. It looks like a potential hardware issue for him. He was low off of turn 4 and slow, and then slid it to a stop in the grass just on the front straightaway here. Brought it to a stop and towed that car back to the pits. Meanwhile, Therian is back out on course and just getting around Steve Durham up in 4th place. Durham, meanwhile, going to be coming down to the lane. I see Justin Thiel from 3rd is down as well. Still waiting on Ryan Hartz to come down, who is still running out in front with Trenton Jump now picking up 2nd place as well. Now, Trenton Jump is actually also going to be looking to make up some spots as well on Shane Therian because they're only 9 seconds separate to them. So Jump might try to go for that kind of coveted runner-up position as well.
Absolutely. Ryan Hart still out there leading this race. Quite a few guys cycling off pit road right now. We just had a big group of guys, including a bunch of the guys that we were watching there in that tight battle. cycling back off here. Somebody just got into the wall there. I can't see a number right now. Looks like 29 car is going by him now.
Matt Dyer.
Oh, is that Matt Dyer? Okay. Yeah, Matt Dyer into the wall there. Not sure what happened, but that's what you hate to do right after you come off pit road.
I mean, I've seen a thing or two for sure. I mean, I know there was an IndyCar race earlier today where a couple of the drivers actually spun out. They didn't even make it out of the pit exit lane and tore up their suspension and ended their races right there. So definitely a bit of an embarrassing thing to do, but you know, we all have those moments. We all have those days where it just doesn't quite go our way out of the pits. Drew Ashley halts down into the lane. Now I see Trenton Jump is into the pits as well, and he was in first place. So that means, yes, Ryan Hart's just coming out of the pits now, and he has lost the lead to Shane Therian, and Christian Gomez might be looking to potentially pick up second place here as well. So all of a sudden, Ryan Hart, he's got a little bit more work cut out for him if he wants to go for one more win tonight.
Yeah, Ryan Hart stayed out there a little bit longer on those old tires. He paid the price. Now he should be able to go a little bit longer on this run. Obviously, he's not going to make it till that second stage. I think they're still going to have to stop again before that stage caution gets in here. So, you know, the flip side for Ryan Hart's is, you know, he got to run some nice clean air out there with nobody driving around him for a while. And if his goal is to keep this clean on the track tonight, it was probably a good strategy call. We'll have to see how it pays out here as far as this first stage goes. Staying out there those extra laps, but right now it has him back in fourth place.
Trenton Jump just now leaving pit road after a very long stop for him, which is going to put him well down the order. It looks like he came in really hot, so Trenton Jump potentially being slapped with a speeding on pit road penalty over in section 1, which is not good for him if he wants to try to get one more position tonight here in the points. So it's unfortunate for him, and I'll tell you what, those speed marshals, they are very strict at tracks like this, so you gotta really watch yourself on those entry speeds. Up front, Justin Teal duking it out with Bronson Stafford and Tyler Tomasi. These guys are almost three-way tandeming. Tyler Tomasi actually giving a shot to the bumper of Bronson Stafford, moving him up the track in turn 1, but he's not able to get the momentum he needs down in turn 2 to get the run on him.
Yeah, and now the 76 there of Tomasi has another run coming back again on Bronson Stafford. This time he just sails it right into that corner, and he actually stuck it. I thought maybe he was going for the slide job with the speed that he had going in there, but he stuck it and able to hang on and couldn't quite complete the pass there, but he still retains the inside going down the front stretch.
Indeed he does, so it's certainly getting to be a curious one indeed. Tomasi is making another look. This time, can he carry the momentum he needs off of turn 2? Not quite. Will he make the look and the dive in turn 3? He's going to make the look. Not quite going for the dive. Stafford is covering him off. Up front, Christian Gomez is through the lead. Your top 3 covered under a blanket right now as Therian tries to get back at him, trying to go for the lead here. Gomez getting washed up the track. He's going to lose second place, first and second place here. Ryan Hart's now, he's all on the back end of Shane Therian. He's going to be trying to take his lead back, no doubt.
Yeah, Ryan Hart's wasting no time with those fresher tires, getting right back up to the rear bumper of the leaders there. So staying out on the old tires, no problem here. Ryan Hart's quickly wipes that gap out, and looks like he's about ready to make a move here to take the lead back.
Don't forget that as well as this, we are about halfway through the end of this first stage. Of course, stage we're coming at the halfway point. There are points awarded for this one. So that would be crucial for Therian, who's trying to go for a stage win here. We are pretty sure, though, he is going to have to stop one more time prior to the end of that stage. So who knows? It could get antsy here, and that could determine who comes out and wins this stage. Hart's now hounding the back end of Shane Therian. Therian might want to come down earlier, get the fresher tires on, so that way he can pounce on the fresh rubber on Hart's and come out in front of him, because Hart's, there's no way he's going to be able to stretch this one out through to the end of the race.
Yeah, absolutely not. You know, I think the last Hart's got 3 laps fresher tires. I think Therian pit on lap 25, and I've got Ryan Hart's pitting on lap 28. So both of these guys are probably going to have to pit somewhere between lap 50 and 55-ish with Ryan Hart's maybe being able to go to 60, but with that stage caution coming at lap 67, not going to make it. Both can have to make one more stop as we see Ryan Hart's just drive right by the inside of Shane Therian with a little fight back to the lead here. So 3-lap fresher tires make quick work of Shane Therian.
Dylan Browning has lost a spot in 9th place up to Steve Durham. It looks like Browning might have either let him through or severely miscalculated his judgment on the entry at turn number 1. Almost hit the wall, but he is still secure now in that 10th position and still trying to find his way up there up front. Bronson Stafford also under attack from Robert Kenny. Kenny started down in 19th place. He's up 12 spots now. Check that, make that 13. He is also having a good go at things tonight as he's trying to continue to work his way up the field as well. Maybe come away with the top 5 potentially tonight.
Yeah, the Bronson Stafford, this guy's been under assault the entire night. He's either been passing somebody or getting past. He's had one heck of an active race here tonight, and he's not done yet there. It looks like he trails Brian Kinney right now, but I thought he was pulling him down that straightaway. It looks like maybe he's not. This group actually kind of looking to be content and run single file here. I guess maybe long enough to at least just catch their breath for the first time tonight. You know, we'll see what happens. We got the 29 now. Actually kind of gaining on Bronson Stafford here a little bit. So I'm sure we're looking at another match here shortly. Meanwhile, we've got the 15 of Austin Gradero working the inside of the 84 of Matt Dyer here right now. Matt Dyer, who I believe is a lap down. No, Matt Dyer is not a lap down at this point. Got that mixed up. So this is a battle for position, and Matt Dyer looking like he's going to hold him off on the outside, and got a little help out there too. Maybe getting a little bit of draft help out there from the 00.
Justin Dietrich also looking to go on the offensive as well. Matt Dyer being pinned on the outside line there. Don't forget behind him, you got Eric Stampa, I think I saw as well, who's still trying to find something as well. So this is it's really a close fight here in this one as well. Also up front, Steve Durham trying to find something around Trenton Jump, who's now dabbing up the inside of Bronson Stafford, and you've got Dylan Browning who's trying to find moves as well. That 12 truck though right up into the marbles again. Durham trying to find something here, almost comes up into Bronson Stafford, so some close calls here up the corners as well. Battles start to shape up as our smaller fields start to get formed back up again.
Yeah, Bronson Stafford and Durham at it again as they've been all race. Meanwhile, up front, looks like the leaders are starting to check out there a little bit. Ryan Hart starting to pull away with almost a 6/10 of a second, a little over half-second interval lead. And then you've got to go back probably again another half second till you get to the back of the pack. So Ryan Hart's making those new tires work. Kind of driving away from the field. We'll have to see if Shane Therian can gather it up and pressure. But as Shane Therian decides he's going to go ahead and pit now, get some fresh tires. So he's into the pits. Looks like a clean entrance. And kind of wonder if this is planned or a little bit of forced strategy here. I'm going to go with the latter and think that his hand was forced on this one.
Well, he might be trying to get the fresh rubber on to make sure he's got enough time that he can bounce back and potentially get Ryan Hart's on that later run. So he's going for an absolutely massive undercut here. The question is, will this work? I mean, this really is the time to gamble in this final race. I mean, Therian can realistically only lose one place, and that's going to put him third in the points. So you might be trying to go for a quick undercut here to see if maybe he can get a run here on the rest of the field, and then on, of course, Brian Hart, who is still going to be running out there for, we expect, quite a few more laps yet. Maybe hoping to gain enough time on the track that when Hart comes down for his fresh rubber, he won't be able to run it back down.
I think that's got to be the thought right now, but it really hadn't been that long since their last pit stop. I think they'll fall off right now is only at about a half second a lap. So this is a pretty big undercut. But look, if Brian Hart is driving away and there's not a lot you can do about it, yeah, I mean, I think you go for the big undercut here. I think this is about 15 laps after his last pit, and looks like maybe he started something too. Everybody else is taking a look at that and saying, you know, okay, pit window's open, here we go.
Tyler Tomasi had some difficulties trying to get down to pit road, came in way too hot and ended up having to actually bail out back onto the racing surface. Lost a huge amount of time. He's trying to bring it down a second time. So Tomasi coming down to the lane. This is the second time that he's trying to pit in only 2 laps. So he's onto the lane this time, but he's probably lost about 5 to 6 seconds on the track as a result from this one. So this is really going to hurt Tomasi's race if he's going to have a shot at maybe going for a top 5 tonight.
Meanwhile, Ryan Hartz brings it in the pits too, so not one to be outdone by strategy here. Ryan Hartz in the pits getting service. He's out clean. We'll see if he's able to retain the lead there. Meanwhile, Steve Durham is the new leader here. While we kind of cycle through pit stops with Justin Dittrich not too far behind him.
Justin Dittrich not too far off as well. Shane Therian on the track, and well, he actually is ahead of Ryan Hartz by a good margin. 6 seconds separating both Therian and Hartz right now. So Therian's strategy does seem to have paid off, and now he's got maybe hope that they don't have a caution, or that strategy will all have been for naught. He's still trying to find his way up there. I see Justin Dittrich now in a fight with Drew Ashe. You got Bronson Stafford ducking his way around as well. You got cars that are on fresher rubber mixed up with cars now that are on older rubber, so it's definitely throwing some serious wrenches into the works on some of the races of these drivers. Looking going to be 3, maybe 4 wide, just about off of turn number 2 as Ashley trying to make something on Dittrich. He's got Robert Kenny though, and Logan Brakey looking their way through as well. This might get tight here. Still 3 wide now with Robert Kenny. Down through 3 and 4. Ashley still pulling that middle groove, trying to find something to work around Justin Dittrich.
Yeah, Ashley looked like he bailed out of that first 3 wide. Didn't really want to be in the middle there. And bailed out of that first 3 wide and right into that second 3 wide. He had to be wondering what he had to do to get away from that there. That was kind of a nightmare scenario. Nobody probably wanting to run 3 wide through these corners right now on this track. So kudos to these guys for pulling that off safely, man. But right now we've got more pit stops continuing here as the 00 of Dittrich says he's coming in for some fresh tires too.
Dittrich down to the lane. Steve Durham is also in from the lead as well. So now we're going to see things getting cycled out. Drew Ashe and Eric Stamp still running 1-2 right now. Right now, though, they are definitely not the race leader. The race leader is currently actually, we're thinking Net Ryan Hartz and Shane Therian. Therian has actually had Alex Walter coming in the middle of things as well. So Therian getting a bit sabotaged here as Alex Walter put himself up a spot as well. It's definitely being quite an interesting one here for Hartz for sure. He's might be getting a little bit more outdone by the strategy here as Therian. He's continuing to pull away with that net race lead.
Yeah, Therian actually took 2 tires on that last stop. I had to go look. I couldn't figure out how he got 6 seconds ahead with it if he didn't take 2 tires. That's exactly what he did. So he short pit, took the 2 tires. Turns out pretty smart strategy here. Not only is, did it give him the lead, he seems to be growing that lead right now. So the 2 tires losing his truck up a little bit. They must be battling a little bit of a tight situation. And Therian might actually be a little bit faster on the 2 tires here.
Well, maybe not. Think again, because Ryan Hartz, remember, he was 6 seconds back when he first came out. The gap, 4.2 seconds now. He gained half a second on this lap alone. So he is actually closing that gap in now. Ryan Hart's going to poke his way around Alex Walter, who just now exits the pit road. Tanner Johnson now acting as a buffer between Hartz and Therian up in front. Your on-track race leader, Eric Stamp, is still ahead with Drew Ashe. These are 2 drivers that I think are just kind of running their way out there. They're kind of biding their time. They're trying to see how long they can extend the stint out. They might be hoping for a caution as well, so they're not losing so much time in the pit cycle, which would definitely be the strategy to go for. And it's a very curious situation that these drivers are finding themselves in, and you gotta wonder which strategy is going to prevail in the very end.
Yeah, we've got all kinds of strategies here. As a 53 Eric Stamp decides he's going to bring it in. I kind of thought maybe if you were still out there on the track your strategy was in and you were just waiting for a caution or until you ran out of gas or whatever came first. But with 54 laps into this segment, I guess that's kind of where we thought maybe they could stretch it to on fuel. We thought somewhere in the 55 range, so they might have just run this one as long as they could here.
Battle on for 11th place on the track. Tyler Tomasi going at it with Steve Durham, who just pokes away around Dylan Browning. Browning lost 2 spots on this lap alone. Durham trying to push his way up to Tyler Tomasi in the 76 machine as well. Remember, Tomasi tried to pit once, ended up he ended up having to completely bail out of that pit attempt because he came in way too high, and that's lost him a lot of time and put him outside of the top 10. So at this point, Tomasi is just trying to hang on to that stage caution where he can regather and try again.
Yeah, Tomasi really a lot faster, driving in the corners a lot faster, but Durham in the 10 truck there gets such a better run off the corners. This time he's able to take it down a straight drive to the inside and going to clear him pretty easily here, getting into that next set of corners. So Durham there with the really good corner exit on that last one and able to pull off that pass.
Indeed he is. So I'll tell you what, this race has been something so far, and as far as Homestead races go, usually they aren't, terribly usually they're nothing to write home about. There's usually not a whole lot that goes on, but this has definitely been an interesting race right down to the pit strategy for sure. Right now you still have Drew Ashley running out in the lead, and Shane Therian is still in second place. It's only a matter of time though, surely, before Therian comes down to the lane. It's also only a matter of time before Ryan Hartz pulls that gap in, because it's down to 2 seconds now, and now Hartz can see Therian, and he can see just how much that gap is closing. So not a lot of time separating Ryan Hartz and Shane Therian at all right now.
Yeah, he's just got to hope that he can hold him off for another 10 laps and collect this stage win. Meanwhile, I was watching them battle further back between Eric Stamp and Justin Ditterich there, which I expect Eric Stamp to make quick work of here as soon as he gets up to speed on his new tires. But Justin Ditcher's been hanging strong on the outside there for a couple laps now, so able to hold him off. Thought the new tires of Eric Stamp would prevail, but they just haven't so far.
Yes, indeed. So still trying to hold him off. I'm looking at the closing rate between Therian and Hartz, which, by the way, is under 1.5 seconds now. There is no way that Therian is going to be able to hold on until the end of the stage. Drew Ashley having a very, very close call as he enters the pit road. And we might even need to take a look back at this one, because he was probably a foot or two at the very most from nosing into the water barrels just on that pit insinuator.
Yeah, what a treacherous pit entry we have here on this one too. Coming off that track at full speed, and looks like he just overshot it a little bit, just didn't quite break up in time, and like you said, barely missed those water barrels there as he locked up the brakes and somehow managed to just kind of wheel that truck just to the inside of those water barrels. Just some handy wheel work there on his part, or maybe just good luck to avoid those. But yeah, that was quite the pit entrance.
And now this will leave the battle for the lead up to Shane Therian and Ryan Hartz, who are still now running 1-2, and now no car separating them to act as buffers. So Hartz going to be hounding the back of Therian now. Every lap, though, that Therian leads is one close to getting that number of laps that he needs to have led. He's also getting close to winning that stage, so that would be 2 of the requirements that he needs to end out, to get him that title. He would then need for something really bad to happen to Ryan Hartz in the second half of the race, because I think it's safe to say that right now Hartz, he's definitely there to stay on that podium at this point in time, at least for this opening stage.
Yeah, Hart's about 0.3 of a second back in the last 2 laps by. He's been about 0.4 of a lap quicker. So Hart should be to the bumper here this time by about the time they get to the start-finish line, and he is. And now it's just a matter of how hard he wants to push it to make this pass. You've got to think that Shane Therian's going to fight, block, do anything he can, make this truck as wide as he can. But Hartz has so much more speed than Therian right now. As we see Hartz right up on the bumper of Therian. They almost got Therian a little bit loose. It looked like he was so far up on that bumper.
Well, he actually gave him a bit of a shock going down in the turn number 3, and now Hart's going to try to look to the inside. It was a massive block from Therian down the backstretch. Not going to be able to have anything for him, though. Just 5 laps to go now in this opening stage, and, well, nothing Therian can do. He's just a sitting duck right now as Ryan Hart's going to put himself back into the lead. Therian led quite a few laps there, and unfortunately, though, it still isn't enough to put him where he needs to be to get that most last lap point. That is still up for grabs for Ryan Hart's. It's definitely swung in Therian's favor because of his pit strategy, but it isn't confirmed just yet, so he's gonna have to regather, maybe try again at that second stage, because right now that he's lost the lead, I don't think he's gonna be able to make that time up again before the end of this first half.
Yeah, there's a lot of complicated math going on there, and you know it's never over right now. But if you're Shane Therian and you know you've used these tires up and you're watching Ryan Hart's drive by you, it's got to be a punch in the gut right now if you're sitting there thinking, I need to win this stage in order to pull this off. So we'll see what the guy with the Xbox controller can get done here if he's got enough tire left to mount another run here at him in these next 3 laps.
He's gonna have to see what he can make up, but there just isn't a lot of time to make it done, to get it done. And right now that gap is growing. It's up to 0.7 of a second right now, and it is only growing exponentially with every single lap. So not a whole lot there's to do right now. Gonna look back though to Bronson Stafford and Tyler Tomasi. These two drivers are duking it out for what is 8th place on the track right now. Stafford just dropping back to 9th after Tomasi gets the move complete down into turn number 1 as well, Stafford's still trying to find that outside line, and right now it just is working for him. I do see some nose damage on that 61 machine. That's no doubt from the shots of the bumpers given a couple drivers on the course, just kind of accumulating over time.
Yeah, Bronson Stafford's had that for a little bit. I think the last time we checked in, I might have saw a little bit of nose damage. Doesn't appear to be really slowing him down too much. He's still been mixing it up with plenty of guys, and obviously that's how he got that little bit of nose damage. Meanwhile, coming up behind him here, we've got the 5 truck that looks to be working the inside there, and Bronson Stafford just going to let him go, not even going to put up a fight on that one. So maybe that nose damage is getting to him now. Maybe he's got more since the last time I saw him, but if I had to guess, I'd say the tires are just starting to wear out here a little bit as we're, I believe, 1 lap away from the end of this first stage.
Well, Trevor Blythe is also only 7.8 laps on his tires, 8 laps now, whereas Bronson Stafford, he is about 20 laps on his stage here, so there just isn't, it doesn't have any speed in that truck right now to fend off against Blythe right now, so just going to let him go. And like you said, we are now coming up to the ending of the stage, halfway point as truck 67 down, 67 to go, the yellow flag flies. Ryan Hart's wins the stage, and with that, I think he's just won the championship.
Based on what they told us before this race started, Ryan Hart's would be your championship winner. But if you're Shane Therian, you know, like we said, there's stage points, there's race points, there's a lot of math going on this. You don't quit. Maybe Ryan Hart's wrecks, maybe he doesn't finish the race. If you're Shane Therian, you do everything you can to win this thing anyways.
Well, the race is certainly not over yet, but that's about another 10 points now that Ryan Hart's has scored on Therian, or about another point at least. So it's difficult. I think at this point now, Hart's would need to finish 13th and not 12th in order for him to be secured in this stage. And I think we can be expecting a lot of drivers now to be coming down to the lane after this, well, during this stage caution, of course, because most of the field was already coming up to the end of their fuel runs, with some drivers already 27 laps on their tires, hint, Shane Therian. Other drivers, about 19 to 25 laps on their tires. So expect a big run of pit stops here soon under the yellow.
Yeah, and Shane Therian with about 54 laps on those left sides. So let's not forget he only had 2 tires on that. So he did an admirable job of using some pit strategy and making those left sides hang in there for 2 pit cycles on this one. As we see the leaders coming down the pit road now.
Leaders are coming down to the lane, and Drew Ashley, I believe, has gotten the lucky dog. In fact, he has. So there you go, Drew Ashley back on the lead lap because of this lucky dog. Field is down to the lane. Shane Therian Going to be second place. Ryan Hart's up in first. Will either of them lead them off? This is going to be the question. Still got to wait for left sides to go on to Therian's car. Ryan Hart's also taking 4 tires now. Hart's off and away. Therian right behind him. It's going to be Christian Gomez third, Teal fourth. Tomasi going to drop a few spots. Durham 5th, Logan Breaky 6th. Tomasi actually makes up a spot in 7th. Browning 8th. Dittrich just getting beaten out by Austin Gregory at the end of this one as well.
Yeah, pit stop's complete, 4 tires. We got half the race in the books. You know, if you're anybody other than Ryan Hartz, you're probably questioning your strategy for the second half of this race. If you're Shane Terrian, you're just trying to stop probably beating yourself up there a little bit and regroup, keep it together, and go out here and see if you can't win this race. What a good race that was on the first half. Shane Terrian there on that 2-tire strategy, trying to get that stage win, and you know, didn't come up too far short.
2 drivers are elected to stay out, should note. Trevor Blythe and Tanner Johnson behind the pace car. What this means is since they are ahead of all the lead lap drivers, they're going to get waved around the pace car with 1 lap to green, meaning Tanner Johnson is going to be back on the lead lap as well if he doesn't come down to pit. Trevor Blythe is going to get his lap back as well and put himself, I believe, ahead of cars like Eric Stamp, Alex Walter, and Trenton Jump, who all came down to pit. So this is good for Blythe. It's also good for Johnson. Question is, they're already 9 laps. Sorry, they're about 10 laps and 13 laps on their stints respectively. So now it's again one of those questions of how will this factor into their pit strategies later on in the race? Because that's going to throw a wrench in their works for sure.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to do what you got to do to get back on the lead lap, right around in the back, go as far as you can on these tires. Hope you don't go a lap down before a caution flag comes out. And you know, when you get everybody grouped back up after a caution, there's always a good chance you're going to see another one. So a lot of times these things will work out in your favor if you're one of these guys taking a wave around, and you know, sometimes they don't, I guess.
Sometimes they don't, sometimes they do. Well, I was about to say sometimes they have a little bit in the middle, but I don't know how you'd get half a wave around. It doesn't tend to make the most sense. But Ryan Hart's going to be leading them off to this second green flag here of the night. The first restart, we ran stage 1 caution free, looking to be doing the same, most likely for stage number 2. Pace car's lights are out. We did get close, should note, on about the first 10 laps or so of that first stage. We got really close to having a few yellows there, so potentially might get our first actual caution of the night in the second stage. We're gonna have to really see here though how this will play into things.
Yeah, if this restarts anything like the last one, we had 3 wides, we had 4 wides, not quite 4 wides, but we had guys looking 4 wide, but we had a lot of 2 wide, 3 wide racing, and these guys were able to keep it clean, but they certainly were aggressive on that last restart, and I don't expect to see anything different on this one. I think we'll see some aggressive racing here, and a good chance to see another caution here quickly off this restart.
So not a lot of time left to go here in this one. It's going to be just 62 laps left to run in the season. Pace car pulls it off to pit road. Ryan Hart's on the throttle earlier this time. Green flag waves this time. Shane Terrian getting a little bit caught off guard. Might be under the threat from Christian Gomez down in the turn 1, but he's able to cover. Your top 4 already single filed out as we are off and away once again for stage number 2, the final stage of the season.
Yeah, Shane Terrian, just like you said, caught sleeping there a little bit. Christian Gomez had a run, thought he was going to look low, but Shane Terrian ran just low enough to keep Christian Gomez from making a run. Christian Gomez had to back out, but he's gathering up here, making another run here. Looks like he's trying to just size up Shane Terrian here a little bit. We'll see as they get up to speed if he's got anything for him, but first couple laps there looked like, or the first lap there, it looked like Christian Gomez was looking to make a quick work of him.
Indeed, and right now Hartz is continuing to extend that lead. The first 2 cars are side by side. In the back is Tyler Tomasi, Dylan Browning. Browning just completed the pass on Tomasi around the outside of turn 1. Tomasi Currently down in 8th place. He's got Bronson Stafford. That might give us a company around the outside as well, with Justin Dittrich dropping back to 10th place as well off the restart. A much cleaner restart, should note, than the initial start. Trenton Jump. He looks like he might be trying to put himself up further in the order as well here in the number 46.
Yeah, Justin Dittrich kind of hung out there on the outside. Had a couple cars get by him, Bronson Stafford, and now he's got the 46 working him over on the inside there too. So seems to be kind of the closest battle. Things have kind of mellowed out up front there just a little bit as Shane Tyrion kind of presses Ryan Hartz here a little bit, but still single file up front.
Still single file up front indeed, and it's looking like that's going to stay. Now the drivers have settled themselves into a rhythm. Shane Tyrion has closed the gap to Ryan Hartz up in the lead, and he's right on the back bumper now of Hartz. Now gonna make the look to the inside. Will he actually go for the spot, though? He will, and Hartz gives it up easy. Does not want to fight too hard just yet. He's already taken the stage win, which further cements him up in that top position. So I think he's perfectly fine with let there and get one spot over him early here.
Yeah, Ryan Hartz definitely backed out of that there on the outside. So probably sitting there with the stage win, says, now I just need to finish this race. We'll see how long it takes before the competitor kicks back in. Seems like we saw this a couple times out of him early in the race. As Gomez is really going to put this to the test. He's really closed that gap up to Hartz. So I think he's wondering how much charity Hartz has left in him right now. And I think we're going to find out here. But for now, Hartz looks like he's content with just riding around and keeping that thing a little bit clean.
Well, he can even finish as far back as 10th place zone. He would still have that championship sorted. He just needs to really keep his nose clean and, hope that people keep clean around him as well. He doesn't need to push right now. That's the big key factor here. Eric Stamp has come down to the pit lane just now in the number 53 machine. Now, was this a scheduled stop? It looks like it was, because he just pulled it off and now he was down to the lane. So it didn't seem to have anything inside. It's going to be 4 tires, but it's going to go a lap down as a result of that one. So interesting call there from Stamp early in this one.
He's not sure. I'm not sure if I think it's too late to be serving a black flag. He would have had to serve that within 2 laps of the restart. So I'm with you in the fact that it probably has to be a strategy call, which, again, like you said, seemed pretty interesting this early. Meanwhile, back in the middle of the pack, things starting to tighten up a little bit there with Steve Durham and Logan Brakey there a little bit. Steve Durham keeps looking to the inside. They haven't gotten any side-by-side action there yet, but guys are getting runs, checking up on each other, and they're starting to group back up there a little bit in the middle of the pack. That's about the closest thing that I've seen really to any contested battles right now.
So Brakey trying to hang on to his top 5 position. Steve Durham might be looking to take it away. You got Christian Gomez up front, is continuously looking high around Hartz as well. Justin Teal running 4th. You really got 2nd on back to about 7th, all under a blanket right there. Then you got Tomasi, Stafford, and Jump running about 8th, 9th, and, well, Trenton Jump, the exception, running 16th, a lap down behind, trying to find something as well. So, like I said, a lot of drivers are starting to tighten things back up. We are seeing a lot more tighter racing, like they do help in fact in the part that, unlike the initial restart, we didn't have 2 cars getting hooked into the outside wall this time, which definitely makes it a lot easier on a couple of these drivers to keep it close together.
Yeah, and correction, I think I said the middle of the pack. I meant the middle of this front pack. These guys, things are starting to tighten up there just a little bit. So we're not seeing quite I think there was a lot more of a go-for-it attitude there in the first restart of the race. The second stage, I think these drivers are more just looking to get in line and just log some laps, keep this thing clean and fight for the win here at the end. Seems to be a different mindset on there as we're seeing guys get runs up on the other guys and not necessarily making that move to the inside to try to make that pass. They're just kind of backing off a little bit and riding around. But as I say that, looks like we've got a move up front there for the lead there. Ryan Hartz got tired of riding around, I think.
So Ryan Hart's trying to put himself back up into the lead. Therian still trying to fight around the outside line, has the run off the corner, but it's not going to be enough. And now Hart's going to be up the inside, and Therian actually might lose another one here. to Christian Gomez, unless he can get himself pushed into line somewhere in the middle of this field, which is what Hartz wants to see. So side by side now, and Christian Gomez, will he be merciful and back off? No, he's not. He's gonna go up whatever spots he can. Shane Therian still pulling that outside line, still trying to find something working the 38. He's gonna lose that spot for sure to Gomez, and there isn't a gap between him and Justin Teal either, so he's trying to find some way to pop in there as well. But Teal, he's covered that inside line. I think we might see Therian drop back as far as maybe 7th place back here.
Yeah, we just talked about how that line had really tightened up in his first pack, and that's exactly what's going on. Now he's got a shot to tuck in. But I was with you. I didn't think he was going to get a shot to tuck in. I thought he was kind of hung out, maybe going to end up in 7th or 8th place there. But the 32 there, Justin Teal, I don't know if he had a little bobble or what, but checked up just enough to let Shane Therian back in line there. And Shane Therian probably going to owe him a beer after this race. That was huge for him, because he was, like you said, heading back 7th or 8th place.
Oh, absolutely. So a couple drivers getting themselves sorted here early on. There's just about 49 laps left to go in this one, so less than 50 to go in the final race of the season 2 of the Adrenaline iRacing League. And now you can see Therian trying to use Christian Gomez, potentially try to help him work his way up. And now Therian going to look back to the inside. Will it be a dive bomb at a 3? He's got the nose in there. And looks like Gomez is going to back off and let Shane Therian take this one around the inside, because he knows he's technically fighting for a championship. But you know, at this point, Ryan Hartz is continuing to grow that lead. And I think that number 3 machine, I think he's going to be able to take this one no matter what Therian does here in this final run.
Yeah, Ryan Hartz has clearly been, you know, after about 15 to 20 laps, he's been the strongest truck, no doubt about it, on these runs. And the more these guys continue to battle as they put laps on these tires here early in these runs, you know, the more Ryan Hartz has to be smiling up there right now. You know, if he can get Gomez to make another run at Therian here, and they can have a little bit of side-by-side, you know, Ryan Hartz then has an opportunity to put a good amount of distance in between himself and the rest of this pack. And then his tires will start coming in at that point. So he obviously has the best tire wear on that truck, or at least he did in all the segments in the first half of the race. So looking like something's going to, maybe some strategy is going to have to come into play or something here if anybody's going to have a shot at taking out Ryan Hartz this race.
Well, and we've seen that Shane Therian, he's able to get the drop on Hartz by short pitting, but Hartz is able to reel in that gap afterwards by coming down from about 5-6 laps later, getting fresher rubber and getting on out there. So it's even been a battle of the pit strategy between a couple of these drivers, and still, you know, Hartz is pulling away. The gap is 0.8 of a second now, and it's still growing. And well, looks like some green flag pit stops might be coming down for a few more drivers. Logan Brakey expected to come on down this time to the lane. In fact, he is dropping back from the top 5. He is going to be bringing things down to the lane as well. So it's looking like it'll be one more stop then for Logan Brakey. Drivers still need to make 2 stops minimum throughout this race. If they come in now and then wait about another 20 laps or so, they're going to be safe to go to the end of the race.
Yeah, we're probably about 21, 22 green flag laps on these tires. There was a couple pacing laps there, so this is the time where Ryan Hartz's tires come in, just what we were talking about there. And you can see he's opened up a gap over a second right now, and he's just driving away. And Shane Therian has no choice. Again, he's going to come in and pit just a little bit early here on this one with the 32 of us. Geez, I'm not sure who the 32 is off the top of my head.
Justin Teal.
Teal coming right down behind him there.
And Justin Teal had a bit of an issue as well, because he locked it up on the back end and actually clipped the water barrels as well. So managed to not get too much damage on that truck, but still scary moment for sure that nearly ended his race. Tyler Tomasi came down to the 76 machine as well. Therian off and away. A lot of drivers now coming down for pit stops here under the green flag. I see Stafford is now down to the lane. Steve Durham is down. And Christian Gomez coming down as well. Ryan Hartz electing to stay out. Currently running down the back straightaway, and that's going to put, well, a good portion of the field a lap down as a result of that now.
Yeah, Ryan Hart's still out there on the track. Not a huge surprise coming in now. Actually surprised he didn't stay out a few laps more. That worked so well for him the last time, but he's just in defense mode, man. He's just trying to not find himself in a position where he ends up in an accident. So he's coming down. He's getting 4 new tires now. Had a pretty good lead coming in. I expect him to probably cycle back out front as long as he's clean in and out of this pit box. I don't think he let enough laps go by for those guys to cycle back out in front of him there. And he is clean. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say it was definitely a very clean entry for him. I think you were going to say the same thing as well for Ryan Hartz. Keeping an eye on where Farian is, just coming up to turn 4 now, around the start-finish line. Don't forget, he might be out first, but he still has that access road, the exit road off of the pits that he's got to worry about as well. And this is where Therian will really reel him in, and he's going to pass him right about there. It is. So Shane Therian cycles up into the lead now, but no doubt might not be for too long.
Yeah, meanwhile, with Robert Kenny on old tires up there in second place, he's been under assault. He was just 3 wide a minute ago, as all these guys on the new tires are coming back and have so much speed on these 2 leaders, 3 leaders up there right now, trying to get their laps back. Things have thinned out a little bit, but while we were watching that, it got a little bit crazy up there with 3 wide and several faster cars stacked up behind these guys trying to get around to get their lap back.
40 laps remaining now. Here in the final race of the iRacing Adrenaline League, the Adrenaline iRacing League. Kind of kerfuffled on the words there, but I'll tell you what, this has been a very interesting race so far. Definitely haven't seen way into much of actual total crashes, but after our final couple races have been Talladega and Eldora, I'm pretty sure that a lot of drivers are not going to be complaining too much about that one, as you take this final race to really kind of let things come off, let things settle. And I think the reason why we were seeing so many drivers being antsy early on is because it's one of those cases where you really have to get into a rhythm. And when you're early on in the race, people haven't settled into that rhythm yet. But by the time you get to the halfway point, people are more settled into the rhythm. People are more willing to work with each other. And that's why we can see some of these runs, the longer, smoother green flag runs coming later on in the race.
Yeah, absolutely. Homestead is such a rhythm track, and there's a real precise line around here to be fast. At least until you get some heat and some rubber put into that track, you can maybe get that second line. But, in both these corners, you're just painting those seams with your left side tires. The way you enter the corner, the way you exit the corner, pretty important here at Homestead. And rhythm is really the key. When I try to explain that to anybody, if you're just off, it's just I just couldn't get that rhythm. And like you said, these drivers finally starting to get into that rhythm. And just to back up to what you said here a minute ago, the last 3 races of the season. So you've got Talladega, Eldora, and then you go into the championship race. My God, this is probably the most aptly named league in Adrenaline. It probably fits their schedule more than any league I think I've ever seen. What a finish to a schedule. Holy cow.
Absolutely. It's definitely been a chaotic end of the season, and looking to end things off very calm here as well. Logan Brake and Christian Gomez having to do battle right now in turn number 1. This is for on-track P6, and Brake going to have to surrender to Gomez as they entered turn number 1. They were side by side down the front straightaway, and Gomez just barely got ahead of him. But here comes Brakey trying to go for a switchback down the backstretch into turn 3. Gomez, though, gets a bit deeper on the brakes, though, and is actually going to manage to cover the inside line. Clears around the outside, so good job there on Christian Gomez to hold on to 6th place there.
Yeah, Gomez looked like he double clutched that exit there on the throttle a little bit. Looked like maybe he stabbed that throttle a little bit early and had to get out, so I'm surprised he was able to hold such a good run down that straightaway. Also looked like he might have slid those rear tires coming off there a little bit, so I think Gomez just really wheeling this thing right now. A big time to hold off the 29 of Christian Brakey there. So not giving anything up at all there.
And you still have Robert Kenny running out in the lead as well, who is still about 30 laps now onto this thin. And I think Kenny might be trying to go for a 1-stopper here. Might be trying to see if he can stretch this one out, go for a single stopper instead of a 2-stopper. I would be surprised, shall we say, if he was able to do that for Kenny, but I mean, it doesn't hurt to try. So right now, he's going to be on the 30th lap of his stint next time by. He's going to have 33 laps to go, though. So he is really, really pushing his luck here with that fuel. But I mean, if he can actually make that one-stop strategy work, do you think he might even be in contention for a win tonight?
I don't. I just think these guys are too fast. I think if he made that strategy work, he would have to save so much gas. Even if we're off on our estimates of about 28 laps, realize that here at 30 laps, we had about 4 caution laps on this stint. So, think 2 to 1. Maybe he's at the equivalent of about 28 green flag laps now. So he's really kind of at the outside of what we thought our window was. And, he'd have to make it 32, 33 laps. He'd still probably have to save somewhere in the ballpark of 4 laps of fuel as we see him coming in now, actually. So I think he'd have to save too much fuel, and he'd be so far off pace, these guys would run him down.
Indeed, and what we know for a fact that Therian and Hart's going to have to come down one more time as well. They're going to retake the lead. The reason why I was thinking that this one-stop strategy might be a potential thing is because he had a 15-second lead when he was running out in front there, and Therian and Hart's just now retook that lead, and they are duking it out again as well as they enter through turns 1 and 2 back to the front. So I'll tell you what, it's been it was an interesting maneuver there from I think from him to try to extend that out as long as he did. I don't think it's entirely out of the question. I wonder if he might try that and hope he gets a lucky caution, which could save him from having to come down that second time.
He'd have to save about 3 laps of fuel, and at 15 seconds, maybe that affords you enough time. I'll tell you what would really help his case if he got a quick caution after coming out of the pits here, and was able to cycle right back up to that lead, get a couple caution laps after he comes out of the pits on those tires, save a little bit of fuel. Then I think he'd really be kind of sitting in the catbird seat having just pit. But right now, I don't know. I'm still leaning towards the amount of fuel that he'd have to save. Shane Therian, who's been running side by side here as we talk about this, next to Ryan Hart's again, as Ryan Hart's finally passing him for the lead here again. As these two have been running side by side, I think these two are just fast for that. I think they're going to close the gap on them. It'd be real hard to save that and maintain this lead on these guys. But Ryan Hart's back to the lead now. Once again.
Well, there's only one way to see if this strategy will work, and that is, of course, to just wait and see. So who knows, maybe we'll see this come into play later on. We can bring it up again about 15 laps or so once things are getting more settled out. We get set for the final run of this race. Pit window is now open again, so if you come down within these next couple laps here, you're going to be set to the end of the race. A lot of these drivers are not going to be able to make that. Therian and Hartz are among them. I see Gomez, Brakey, Teal, Durham, Stafford, Gretorix, Tomasi, Dittrich, Dyer, Browning, Johnson, all going to have to come down one more time to make this work. In fact, Eric Stamp already coming down to the lane to secure himself in there. But now it's going to be the question of, when do you come down? Do you come down early to just top up full of fuel and go, but have a heavier truck, or do you try to stretch it out as long as you can, hope for maybe a yellow, and then only top up with what fuel you need to make it to the end, which will give you, which will make your truck lighter and therefore faster in the later run as well?
That 2 tires again, right? We saw Shane Therian make that work in that first run. He really just came up about 3 or 4 laps short on that strategy of coming in for the 2 tires. And as he loses the lead here with 28 to go once again to Ryan Hartz, I have to wonder if he's not thinking about a 2-tire pit stop again and when he might pull that off. At this point, I think if you're Shane Therian, you probably feel like you're going to have to come up with some sort of pit strategy or maybe get a lucky caution in order to hold Ryan Hartz off here for this win. So I'm going to be real curious to see what his pit strategy is.
Well, here's the thing as well with that 2-stopper strategy. While it did put him out in front by a good 8 seconds, Ryan Hartz did close in by half a second a lap and did end up overtaking him before the end of that stage. So that's the problem with the 2-stopper strategy, is while it gains you a lot of time in the pits, it loses you a lot of time on the track. So you really have to try to weigh the benefits. I would be surprised, honestly, if we saw Therian try it again, because he just lost so much time the last time through. And now, speaking of which, Shane Varian down to the lane for the final time of the season, no doubt. And well, this is it. It's money stop time. This is the time where if you have some sort of ace up your sleeve for the strategy, this is the time to get in there and play that card.
Yeah, no more guessing. We are about to find out what Shane Therian's going to do. We'll see if he gets into the box clean. Nope, he has to back it up. That hurt just a little bit there as Gomez comes in right behind him too. So Shane Therian lost some time there getting in that pit box. That's going to hurt him a lot. He is taking 4 tires on this one, so not listening to me, and that's probably the smartest thing that he could do tonight.
So Shane Varian is off and away with a about an 11.3 second stop there. Not quite sure if that's totally accurate, but oh, hold on. Matt Dyer right out of the pits is slow. Is Matt Dyer out of fuel, or did his engine blow up? Because Matt Dyer was on the apron through 1 and 2. No, hold on. He got put into the outside wall. We had a big incident, actually. Trevor Blythe got run over by Dylan Browning. Blythe shot sideways and actually slammed poor Matt Dyer into the outside wall and likely blew that motor up. And this was over in turn number 3 that this happened in.
Yeah, I'm backing up trying to see it now, but I'm wondering if this wasn't somebody trying to slow up to get into the pits here. Does it look like it happened just before the entrance to pit road? And yeah, I don't know if he was slowing up to get in the pits or not, but he certainly was quite slow. Him being the 5 truck there of Trevor Blythe, or Trevor Blythe, was a little bit slow. 12 truck got in the back of him, spun him around. And I'm still not sure how these other guys got collected on that. That looks to be kind of maybe an independent incident. I'm not sure how the 84 got caught up in that.
No, Matt Dyer got cleaned out by Blythe when Blythe slid up the racetrack in turn 3 and absolutely pummeled him into the outside wall. Nothing that Dyer could do, as I think now we finally got the right angle here to show what in the world happened to Dyer. The incident happened up front with Blythe. There you'll see, watch Browning with that big closing speed. He's a little bit tap of the back end right there. Watches his shoes back up the track, and 1, 2, there are the hard hits, and that just sent Dyer's night up in smoke. That is probably the worst possible way he could have ended off the season. Not what he was hoping to see at all. Ryan Hards has taken the race lead once again throughout this pit cycle, but Therian is hot on his heels, trying to run him down with just 21 laps to go.
Yeah, absolutely. You called it right there. I missed that where he came back up and got Dyer. So interesting, though, no caution flags in this whole event. We had cars all over the track. That would have been a game changer in this race with Shane Therian just to have pitted. And, you know, maybe that other one pit strategy coming into play that we were just talking about there a minute ago. But meanwhile, we've got Kenny in the lead here by about a healthy 12 seconds, and then Hartz leads Therian in the battle for the net leader here as they come back to the final flag here for this final run, it looks like.
Yes, indeed. So, again, no yellow for that incident. I'm not quite sure how there wasn't a yellow for that one. You would have thought there would have been one, but I mean, that's how racing goes, I guess. It looks like the Irish officials decided not to throw one for that one, interestingly enough. So no caution, and we are going to keep it green. This is certainly an interesting way to close things off. Well, this is really the closest battle we got on track here for that net race lead between Hartz and Therian. Would like to mention that, Robert Kenny is still out in front. He's got a 9.8 second lead, which is slowly reeling down, but I think Kenny might be trying to put himself up into a podium position here tonight, trying to get whatever spots he can here, maybe pick up a few extra places in the championship standings at the end of this, because I think I'm still standing by that. I think he's trying to go for that one stopper.
Yeah, it sure looks like he's going to try it. We'll see if he can save enough gas or not, or if he even has to. I think that caution might have been what he needed, although coming right after everybody else had already pit cycled, it might have actually done him in. So Robert Kenny now, though, with I don't know, 8-second lead. So he's lost 3 seconds here in just the last few laps. I think he's saving a lot of fuel right now. He's turned almost 34-second laps. So, sir, he's got to save on. It's clear that his strategy is, like you said, to try to get that podium finish and do this on a one-stopper. And he's about almost a second and a half off the pace right now up there in the lead.
He's a second and a half off the pace for sure. He's 7.4 seconds, which is no doubt not being helped by the fact that he's 10 laps on his tires are 10 laps older. But what I think is worth noting more here is still the fact that you know, he is still losing more time than he would on those older laps. So I definitely agree. He is trying to go for the one-stopper strategy. He's just trying to save what little he can. But the matter is, will it be enough? That's going to be the big ticket question here. He is letting off more and more early for the corners, which is why he's losing time to cars that are, you know, laps down from him. But this is allowing Homestead-Miami to close on in, and he's not going to be able to hold on to that lead for, well, probably not more than another 10 laps at this rate.
Yeah, he's giving up a second a lap right now with a 6-second lead. You would think the leaders would be on him here in about 6 seconds. Even third place, that podium position is only about 9 seconds back. And he's given up a second lap to that. We've got 14 laps to go. So if he's trying to get a podium finish, he's going to have to kick it up a notch. So, yeah, definitely in fuel save mode. Don't know how much fuel he saved yet. You know, is he going to be able to kick it up here in 4 or 5 laps and turn comparable laps to the leaders? If not, he's probably going to get shuffled back to the middle of the pack.
Indeed, this is a very good point as to what is going to be needed. So Therian and Hartz still closing in the gap. That gap has split up notably from Hartz to Therian. It's about 0.7 of a second now, and Robert Kenny still dropping back for sure. And well, for rest as to how much time he's losing, it's in the corners, because he's backing up to about 148 miles an hour in the corners, 148 miles an hour in the corners. Ryan Hartz 155, so he's significantly slower than him in the corners. Looking to one of the other battles on course, I believe this is between Justin Teal and Logan Brinky here. We've got 13 laps to go.
Well, and Ryan Hartz has been, you know, somewhere in that 15 to 20 lap range. He's really been where he's kind of pulling away and turning it on. And so with Shane Therian being quite a bit slower earlier in this run than he has been, you know, in the previous runs, wonder if there isn't some kind of tire saving strategy going on by Shane Therian this time that we're not seeing. In the previous runs, they were pretty even paced for about the first 10 or 15 laps with Therian, maybe even being a little bit faster at times. But right now, Ryan Hartz has been faster than Shane Therian for the most of this stint. And we're getting into that part where normally Ryan Hartz has been the fastest guy in the track. We're getting to that section right now where he's kind of been driving away. So, you know, hopefully Therian's got something up his sleeve. Otherwise, I don't think we're going to have much of a race to the finish here. I think Ryan Hartz is going to drive away with this thing.
Robert Kenny is no doubt looking a little bit nervous on fuel. He's got about 10.5 laps left to run. He's 21 laps, though, on his stint. So that's going to be crucial here for Kenny as he's trying to, you know, make anything happen here in this final stint, and maybe, just maybe, come away with at least a podium position. But now the gap is closer between Kenny and Hartz than it is to Hartz and Therian. So that just shows you that Hartz is continuing to reel in that gap, and with still 10 laps left to go and 22 laps on that fuel window, I wonder if he's going to be able to do it. I think he's going to be running out of fuel here with about 3 laps to go.
Yeah, I think he finds himself in a tough position here. He's turning 34-second laps, 33.9s right now still. He's about to give up the lead probably on this lap, if not this lap, the next lap. And then Therian will be right behind him, and probably not too far behind that Gomez. So he's trying to save a lot of fuel still here. Gotta wonder if he can even do it. As we see Ryan Hartz right now take the lead from him. No contest, obviously. Ryan Hartz significantly faster than him, but he just drove right around him on the inside there in turn 2.
Well, no doubt Robert Kenny kind of gave him that one easy. Didn't want to spend too much time holding himself up, and now he's losing even more time here to Shane Therian. It's about 1.5 seconds back. So Kenny he's got to be looking a little bit more nervous in that number 34 truck. A podium position isn't out of the question, but he still has 8 more laps to run. He's 24 laps on his stint. The estimated fuel window, about 28 to 30 laps, is what we've been seeing from a few of these drivers. So still have some time to work up, still have some things to do, and I think Robert Kenny, we might be seeing him start to clutch in and coast it here in a little bit.
Yeah, you know, he's still running those 33.8, 33.9 laps. So obviously he's super slow in the corners right now. I'm guessing he's probably not even full throttle on the straightaways trying to save this gas. Yeah, we'll see. I think he's got about a 4 or 5 second lead on Gomez for that 3rd spot, that podium finish. And with about 6 laps to go, it's possible, because it seems to me that Gomez, I'm not sure if he's short on fuel too or not, but he seems to have really slowed down quite a bit here too recently. So Gomez running 33.5s those last couple laps, 33.4s. So Gomez lost a couple seconds to Shane Terrian ahead of him, and not sure if he picked up some damage or if he's just maybe he's a little, couldn't be light on fuel. So I'm not sure what's going on with Gomez.
Well, we're just going to have to wait and see for Christian Gomez, but he's certainly going to be helping out Robert Kenny, who's looking to lose another spot here. Therian on his inside right now, and now that's it. Robert Kenny is into the final podium position, and he's not going to be able to gain those back. He's got to hope now that he can just run these laps out. He's definitely about the same speed right now as Christian Gomez. He's going to use the trap as much as he can here on the straights as well, because it is helping him to save fuel. 5 laps left to go. Therian gives Kenny the inside. Did Therian overshoot the corner?
I don't know. The whole thing was strange, and in the meantime, I was actually checking out Gomez's car to see if maybe he had a little bit of damage, but yeah, it looks like Therian, I don't know if he just used his tires up, and maybe, you know, one of the byproducts of saving fuel is saving tires. I'll tell you that. You don't burn a lot of tire when you're running about 3/4 throttle, but Therian puts it into that right away and just drives right by him in the next set of corners. Throttles up, drives right underneath him. So I'm going to go with what you said there initially. I think he just overshot that corner.
Coming up to 3 laps left to go here in the season. Ryan Hartz is continuing to run away with his lead. There is absolutely nothing that can stop him, not even lap traffic to hold him up. This has been certainly one heck of a way to end off the season for sure. And at this point, I'm more focused on Robert Kenny. If anything, I'm wanting to see if he can actually make this work. We didn't think it would work, but he's certainly given it everything he's got. He's coming up to 30 laps on the stint now with just 2 laps to go. If he runs out of fuel now, that would just be tragic.
Yeah, meanwhile, we just had a 3-wide battle there for 6th and 7th place with Stafford and Brakey going at it, and the 23 car ending up in the wall as they were 3 wide. Everybody saved it, no cautions. 23 fell off, lost a little bit of paint. Ross and Stafford gets by for 6th place. But this battle's not over as they continue to cross each other up, and Brakey gets into the back of Bronson Stafford, actually gets him loose, backs up though and gives him a little bit of room to gather it up. So just a couple laps left. Brakey cutting Bronson Stafford a little bit of slack there.
White flag is in the air. Just 1 lap left to go in the Adrenaline iRacing League. Shane Therian not gonna have anything for your points leader, Ryan Hartz. Drew Ashley, the only lap truck he's got to negotiate around the inside. And now 2 more corners through turn number 3, through turn number 4. Ryan Hartz, he's not just going to win the race, he's going to be winning himself a championship here today. Ryan Hartz, your season champion in season number 2 of the Adrenaline iRacing League. He's going to be almost looking to try to pull a bit of a drift there. Shane Therian going to do one bit more successfully down through turns 1 and 2. Robert Kenny makes the one-stopper work, finishes it off 16th place before he started up in the final podium position of the day.
What a run by Robert Hartz there. Ryan Hart's, not Robert Hart's. Robert Kenny, Ryan Hart's. Ryan Hart's classed the field all day long, had the best long run truck. Probably had the best short run truck whenever he wanted it to be there. Tried to find that balance between keeping that truck clean and staying out front. But at the end of the day, he comes away with one in kind of a almost dominating fashion. Even though he didn't dominate the race, it just felt like he could have at any time that he wanted. So congratulations to Ryan Hart. What a run. And Robert Kenny, I doubted you, man, and I shouldn't have. Congratulations. You got the podium spot on that one stopper in the second half. So I think you guys knew something that I didn't about that one, but he did pull it off.
As Ryan Hart burns it down for a well-deserved burnout on the front straightaway here. Let's take things over to your official results. It's your new champion, Ryan Hart, to end things off at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Shane Therian picks up second place. Robert Kenny, again, after a really bold one-stop maneuver, will take away third place. Christian Gomez down in fourth. Justin Teal, fifth place. Bronson Staffner, Logan Brakey, sixth and seventh. Steve Durham in 8th, Austin Gretorix in 9th, with Tyler Tomasi in 10th, Justin Dittrich in 11th, Drew Ashley 12th, Dylan Browning 13th, Trent DeJump in 14th, Tanner Johnson in 15th, Alex Walters 16th, Eric Stamp 17th, Matt Dyer 18th, Trevor Blythe 19th, Calvin Gretorix 20th, with Jared Maffeo in 21st place. Don't go away. We got your post-race show coming up in here in just a moment. Just a few moments. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Homestead-Miami Speedway for today's presentation of the post-race show. Well, I'll tell you what, Jeff, it was a chaotic second and third last races at Talladega and Eldora. Very, very calm and clean one, apart from some more mild incidents throughout the field. To finish things off here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. And now we do have quite a few people that we're going to be talking to tonight. And the first one, if we can get him up in here, is going to be Mr. Bronson Stafford, who did end up coming away with the team championship here. So it's been an interesting one for sure. Jeff, before we bring people up here to talk to them, well, your thoughts on how this race went?
Well, I'll tell you what, I think you've got the right guy to start this interview cycle off, because I'm telling you, every time I've looked at Bronson Stafford in this race, he was side by side with somebody. I think he probably had the most active race of anybody tonight. Passing, getting past, running in the pack. So, outside of that group of cars that were racing each other, I thought it was a pretty calm race for the most part. Ryan Hartz, I felt like he had the car to beat and drove away when he wanted to, and that front pack had its battles, but for the most part was pretty orderly. And, in the back of the pack, it was the same thing. They got pretty much single filed and there wasn't a lot of hard racing, but the middle of the pack where Bronson Stafford and some of these guys were, there was a lot of action there.
Absolutely, a lot of action for sure in this one. And well, I'll tell you what, this has definitely been a very intriguing race for sure. I mean, you had a third place runner in this one, Mr. Robert Kenny, that ended up making that one stopper work in the final stage here. In the final stage, actually, yes, he did. Made that one stopper work. We didn't think he would be able to do it. He ended up losing out on the lead, of course, by 7.1 seconds, but still came through to make it work. So it was definitely a good race for a lot of people.
Yeah, I'm kind of blown away. I was pretty adamant that he was going to get eaten up on that. But, at the end of the thing, he had lap times that fell in line with everybody else. He'd saved enough fuel and saved enough tires doing it that he actually had a podium position by quite a margin. It wasn't even close as to he didn't have anything for the first two, although he gave Shane Terrian a little bit of a battle there and made it scary for a second there. But as far as Gomez coming up from behind or anything, there was a pretty good buffer. He was solidly in third place. So kudos to him for that great strategy. Shane Terrian there, knowing that he had to win that stage and knowing that he had to win the race to win the championship, he kind of just went all out there on strategy. We saw everything on him from short pits to two-tire pits. And it just wasn't enough for Ryan Hartz. Ryan Hartz clearly the class of the field, but Shane Terrian put up a valiant fight all night. And, was able to bring it home in second. So certainly probably not the adrenaline, and the pun is intended here, that you had your previous two races with Talladega and Eldora in a chase. My God, I don't even know. I think I'd have a meltdown before I even got to either one of those two in a chase. But so certainly not the adrenaline that would come with those two, but plenty of adrenaline, strategy, intrigue in this one. And, at the end of the day, Ryan Hartz was the class of the field. And Kenny was probably the strategist of the field.
Well, I think at this point in time, we are ready to give some of these drivers, let's bring them up to give them a little bit of a chat. And the first one that we want to bring up, we could do that right now, is going to be Mr. Bronson Stafford, who came things away in the team championship here. They ended up taking the victory here in the team championships. It's been a very good one. And well, now we have him with us, Mr. Bronson Stafford. First of all, congratulations on your team coming out and winning the team championships here for season number 2 in the Adrenaline iRacing League.
Yeah, thanks. It was a really good season by the whole team. So,
well, let's start right from the beginning. Brief season rundown. How do you think things went for you? Because it was a bit of an interesting championship, to say the least, especially with these final 3 races, of course. And you did end up coming away with some decent points, especially in the final run. I can imagine that felt mighty good to you to finally be up there and being able to fully celebrate with Sky Motorsports to be able to take things away here in the team championships.
Yeah, we're gonna start the season and see how it played off and just kind of see how it went. And we had a good shot to win Daytona actually until coming up off of turn 4, and It was kind of like that at most of super speedways, I think, if you look at it. And then obviously with Shane's always good every track we went to. Shane, myself, and Kenny ran really good at Las Vegas. Shane would run good at short tracks, and we all just kind of had our strengths and weaknesses. And throughout the season, it all played off really good. And the whole issue that went on with Hartz's team and Matthew Bell and all that kind of opened up the title a bit in terms of that. And so we didn't really have to race too hard at the end, just kind of make sure everyone showed up and finished points. But we were doing good. We have a really solid group, and not even everyone on the team could run 4 team points. I think he had it limited to 5 drivers, so that's unfortunate. But you know, we did have Austin and Calvin and Matt Dyer and Tom Bourne, and we have so many guys that run for the team, and they've all had good runs and bad runs, and so everyone pulled their part. And it's been a long season, so it feels good to get it over with and take some good momentum into next season, hopefully.
And speaking of going into the next season, do you have any plans on how you plan to proceed with this next season? Because I can imagine you're going to be able to hit that next season running, and no doubt you're going to be up there trying to defend your the honor for Sky Motorsports again, maybe back-to-back championship seasons here.
Yeah, I think that's the plan. We're already working at probably running 2 separate teams, just due to the amount of people we're going to have, and maybe seeing what happens with all that. But we've been really good in the Cup car so far, and I know that's what we're going to next season. And Shane's really good in pretty much everything it drives. I've been pretty solid. Kenny's been pretty solid, and we're still getting Austin and Calvin used to oval racing. They're European. This was their first season of ever doing anything oval, let alone on iRacing. And Austin's really improved throughout the season, so that's been nice to see. But yeah, hopefully next season we can back it up, go for another team championship, and hopefully I can get a little bit better of myself for drivers, as I just missed out on 3rd place. So definitely looking forward to it.
And well, before we let you go, then give some of our other drivers a bit of an interview here as well. Anybody that you'd like to thank who helps you to get it done for the Sky Motorsports team? Because I can imagine there are a few things you might want to say here.
Yeah, we always have Cineplex, GoPro, and on my truck and all my cars and such like that. Shane's got Rogue Energy and Evo controllers, and those they've been working with him for a long time. Tom's got G Fuel on the car, and I think we'll see that on a couple other cars next season as well. We've been in talks with that going on, and that kid's got Astro game, or Robert Kenny's got Astro, and I think that's pretty much what he had on all season. But yeah, we you know, and obviously huge thanks to all the guys that are on the team. You know, Austin, Matt, Calvin, Robert, Shane, Tom, and we've done good all season, and you know, I hope they're proud of what they did.
That was Bronson Stafford, the owner of Sky Motorsports, coming away with the Team Championship today. Now let's continue to move things along here now to Steve Durham, who is standing by with Jeff Stabnow, the winner of the the Best of the Rest Championship here.
Hey, Steve Durham, this is Jeff. You got a copy?
Yep, got you loud and clear.
Hey, congratulations on the Best of the Rest Championship. For those viewers that might not be familiar with this championship, you want to go ahead and explain it real quick?
Yeah, just guys that weren't in the competing in the last final races. Whoever finished the best out of the points would be crowned the champion for Best of the Rest, and pretty cool deal.
Yeah, real cool. I bet you're pretty excited after winning that one. It looks like there was actually, the spot was in contention tonight, so you did have to have a good finish in order to lock that down. And you know, I know every time you looked, I think you were right in the middle of things with kind of a group of cars there, Bronson Stafford and a few other ones running in that kind of 6, 7, 8 position all night. You guys were trading spots. So tell me how much this was on your mind as you were competing in the race tonight.
I definitely had a long run. I almost actually handed it away there on that last pit stop. I went to go pit, and there's a car in my inside lap car, and just kind of messed me up. But thankfully I was able to rebounding, still get a top. I think I had a better finish than what I got out of it tonight.
Yeah, so The best of the rest, man. I'm looking at your guys' schedule. I've brought this up a couple times on the broadcast there. What a brutal way to end the season under the chase there. And of course, to get the best of the rest, looking at that, you've got Talladega in there, you've got Eldora. You come into the season championship and you finish up, the final race at Homestead. How nerve-wracking or how brutal was this schedule to end the season, and how much did that play into, having this best of the rest championship kind of hanging out there, add to the stress of the end of this season here for you?
Well, knowing that I was in contention for that after Milwaukee, I really started really buttoning things down, trying to clean it up a little bit. Milwaukee was a little bit of a rough go for me, some other guys, but just had to finish strong here. Just wanted to go out and have fun. I'm a newcomer here, so I'm just trying to earn my respect and get to know everybody, race around everybody cleanly, and do my best I can around some great guys in this league.
Well, I'll tell you what, congratulations. You went through the gauntlet. You came out the other side with the best of the rest championship. So, big shout out to you on that one. Do you have any friends, family members you want to acknowledge, give a shout out to, anything like that? Sponsors or something you want to give a holler to before we send this back to Nolan?
No, I don't really have any sponsors. Racing a special paint scheme tonight, in honor of Suicide Awareness Month for May. Like to honor that. Just any team members I race with, Dave Washington, Eric Stanford over at a team I race with every week. Got other leagues going all the time, always busy. Thanks to those guys, and any friends and family that are watching, shout out to them.
All right, and big shout out to that organization that you're sponsoring here. That's always a good cause. So thanks to you. Congratulations, Steve Durham, and enjoy your off season here. And we're going to send it back to Nolan, who's got the next interview queued up.
Sounds good. Thank you.
So we're going to continue to move things along here, and now we're going to bring things on over to Trenton Jump, your third place finisher here in the driver stand for today. Trenton, congratulations on coming away with, I guess, the final podium position when it comes to the point standings, being able to beat out Bronson Stafford by just 5 points after today's race here at Homestead.
Yeah, feeling pretty good about it. Had a pretty consistent season. No wins, no poles, nothing too spectacular, but we definitely challenged for some races, and happy how it came out. I had a little bit of a slow start to the season, but once we started picking off some top fives, we just kept on rolling.
Of course, it's definitely good to see that you're up here and able to talk to us now that you've been confirmed to be the third place finisher for the season. When you get around to the next season, though, you said you had a bit of a slow start to the season this time. No doubt you'll be able to hit the ground running for the next one. So you reckon that maybe next season you could be putting yourself up to maybe be in title contention?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I just, at the start of the season, I didn't know where I stood as far as my talent compared to everybody else, because this is the first league I've ever done on iRacing. I've just never done anything but official races. So I just didn't know where I stacked up, and it was really sitting in the back of my head like I need to be nervous, and like I just need to take it easy and just work on getting better week to week to week. And then I just figured it out. I'm like, this is where I stand. This is where I need to be. And once I had that in my head, it was just easy to start picking off top fives and top threes and being able to talk to you guys every week. So.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's good to be talking to you again. And, we do have to continue to move things along. So, again, congratulations on that third place. And before we let you go, anybody that you'd like to help shout out, who's helped you get it done throughout the course of the season?
First off, I want to thank you guys for broadcasting all season. It was fantastic. I absolutely loved every moment of it. I love the interviews after the race. It just adds a lot to the whole spectacle of the league. I want to thank Justin Teal at That Color Teal Designs for doing my trucks all year. Logan, TJ, the rest of us that are admins, we tried our best to do a good job all year, and I think we did a good job. So and everybody else I helped, thank you too. So thank you.
And thank you for joining us, Trenton Jump. Once again, congratulations on third place. And going to continue to move things along now. Now we're going to bring up Shane Therian, your second place finisher for today. And once again, Jeff Stanmel standing by with your runner-up here in the points.
Shane, congratulations on the second place finish this season. I'm sure you wanted first place, but man, did you take a pretty big swing at it tonight. It looked from where I was sitting at Ryan Hart's had a pretty tough car there on the long run, but you put up a fight on the shorter runs, and it looked like you just kind of threw the whole strategy basket at him, and made a real interesting race to watch. Why don't you go ahead and run us through it from your perspective here, real quick, if you would.
Yeah, I gave it all I had. I thought, tricking Hearts with 2 tire stops, he was going to keep taking 4 because he knew he could catch me, but he caught on. He's been catching on a lot this season. I beat him a lot. Almost all my wins this season come from strategy, and he's been catching on. So I tried everything. I mean, I wish I kind of would have moved him a few times, but I didn't want to race dirty. But man, it was a fun season.
Well, you threw the kitchen sink at him, that's for sure. It was fun trying to keep up with everything you had going on there during the race. Hartz was good. He was fast. Congratulations on the runner-up. I'm sure you got some friends, family you want to give a shout out to, maybe some sponsors out there, maybe Evil Controllers for that bad fast wheel and pedals they gave you there. But have at it here, man.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't even use a wheel and pedal. I'm actually on a controller, which is shocking to a lot of people. But yeah, Evil Controllers have been with me for 7 years now, and then I think TJ and all the adrenaline guys are putting this league on. I'll be back next season in the Cup car, same sponsor, same manufacturer, same team. So hopefully I can take the title next season. We'll have to see. And thanks for you guys for broadcasting all season. It's been fun.
Well, absolutely, and congratulations once again. You sure made it a fun one to call tonight. And we're going to go ahead and send it back to Nolan, who I think has the points championship.
Indeed, I will. So it's going to be Ryan Hartz to bring things up here. And, well, Mr. Ryan Hartz, let's put it this way. 12 stage wins, 14 top 10s, 11 top 5s, 11 poles, and 8 wins. That, I guess it assumes, equals a championship. And congratulations to you for winning yourself a championship here at Homestead.
Thank you so much, man. Really appreciate it. Appreciate all you guys for what you do here over at LSR TV, trying to broadcast the whole entire season. It was really, really fun. Much dominant season, most people would call it. I've had a lot of luck in this league. Been very fast all season, and I'm proud of myself for that. And I've never won a Truck Series championship. This is actually my second championship on iRacing overall, and I'm very happy to call myself a truck champion now.
Well, we heard Shane Therian just say that he threw everything, including the kitchen sink, at you. And, well, it didn't amount to, I guess, as much as he would have been hoping for. And I'll tell you what, you definitely walked away with this one here tonight. You did try the the 2-tire strategy. You elected to stick with 4, and you ended up overtaking it well before that stage caution. And at that point, when you had the stage caution, that pretty much cemented your victory in here. Were you kind of thinking that after the stage yellow, you really didn't have to worry at all at that point?
I pretty much just took the words right out of my mouth. I didn't even think I was going to be able to catch Shane. I was like 6 seconds back when he took 2 and I stayed on 4. I didn't think it was going to take 2. I didn't know if gambling was going to be going on tonight, but he took 2 and I was like 6 seconds back. And I saved for about 5 laps, and I just started going. I couldn't waste any time. Luckily, I caught him. He put up a hell of a fight tonight. But after the stage when I won that, I pretty much thought I had it locked up as long as I finished the race at least.
Of course, next season going to be coming up after the off season here, and I'm expecting that you intend to hit the ground running and maybe try to go and defend your title going into season 3 here. Is that a safe assessment?
I actually don't have any plans right now to return, but you can't ever say no. I mean, I love racing. I love racing with these guys, and they're really, really fun to race with all season, and a little bit of rivalry with some drivers season, but overall, these guys are a blast to race with, and you never know. I could be here next year, or I could be somewhere else, but we'll have to see.
And then real quick before we let you go, anybody that you'd like to help, that you'd like to shout out, who helps you get it done for the number 3 machine, and who helped you overall to win that championship tonight?
I got a lot of people to thank. First of all, like I said, got to thank you guys for doing the broadcast all season. Charles, I know he's probably listening too. Justin Prince, I know he did Milwaukee, and everybody else who broadcasted on LSR TV. And got to thank everybody who races in this league. Like I said, they're a blast to race with, and they're not in the league anymore, but I got to thank Matthew Bell, Shane Abbey, and Spencer Hilton, because the ones that got me going in this league, and unfortunately they're not in the league anymore. But I thank them because they were really really helpful with like trying to get the setups where I liked it, and I make minor adjustments to it. And um, as I got the setups going, I was really really fast all season, so they really helped me with that. And thanks to Jared Matthew, he was talking to me all race, talking to me for the last half of the season, and he was a lot of help with that. So um, thank him, and I'm got to thank Tanner definitely because he's put a lot of work into this, and just can't wait to get that trophy and hold it up.
And welcome. Thank you for joining us today, Ryan. And definitely congratulations on winning yourself a championship by a mile here tonight at Homestead.
Thank you guys.
And well, just one more driver now to give us a little talk before we close things off for today. And it's going to be Robert Kenny, who is going to be coming up, your third place finisher for tonight. Jeff, in just a minute here, is going to be standing by with your third place finisher, the driver we didn't think would actually make it on fuel towards the end of things. Jeff, take it away.
Robert Kenny, man, congratulations on a great finish there. I'll tell you what, you were probably the most talked about driver the last third of that race, as Nolan and I debated whether or not you could make it on one stop. And I'll tell you what, you proved me wrong and you proved him right. And congratulations on that call. Why don't you walk us through that call a little bit, man? I'm still not sure how you pulled it off.
Oh, well, thank you. Well, actually, it all started in the first half of the race. Me and my teammates were all talking, trying to see how far we could push it on fuel. It was like right at that cusp, 29, 30 laps. So we're like, we'll pit early in the first half of the race, make sure we get to halfway. And with the stage happening at halfway, that's roughly 66, 67 laps, I believe it was. And since I was already towards the back half of the field anyway, I'm like, I'll make a try at it, see if this works. So I pit coming to one to go to the green flag, start the second half, and I'm like, all right, I'll run it dry. And I tell you, it was real close, even with all the saving I did. Like I started sputtering off of 4 on that final lap.
We knew you had to be close, and we knew it was a heck of a strategy. We watch you save, we watch your lifetimes. And, at one point, I discounted it, thinking that there was no way you were going to pull that off. The rest of the pack was gaining on you so fast. But at some point, those times just equalized. And you actually had third place by quite a wide margin. So you may have been sputtered coming off that fourth corner, but you had more than enough cushion there. You probably could have dang near got out and pushed it across that finish line. So congratulations on the top 3 finish tonight. And I'm sure you got some people to thank, some teammates, some friends, some family that are watching here. So go ahead, you've got the mic.
Yeah, I just want to thank you guys for putting the show on, the admins for actually putting the league on, Astro Gaming Equipment and Sim Speed Shop, which are on, I believe, all the vehicles on the teams, but their main sponsors on mine. And then all my Sky Motorsport teammates. There's Shane, who I believe came second in both the race and championship. Bronson Stafford, Austin Gretorix, and Matt Dyer. It was a great team to race with all season.
Well, congratulations. You sure made it interesting tonight there at the end. Gave us something to really pay attention to. So enjoy your off season, and we're going to send it back to Dalton here to wrap things up.
All right. Have a good night.
You too. And well, that is going to close things off on not just another race, but another season. It's been one heck of a season, a good final 3 weeks here in this championship. And it is a bit sad that we're going to close it off again, but we definitely look forward to when we can bring things out again for the next season. I have been Nolan Rempel, helping you bring this presentation live with Jeff Stab now beside me here in the commentary box and Charles Wooten behind the cameras for tonight. Join us in just an hour. Brandon Kreuznach going to be with you guys at the virtual Lanier Speedway for the United States Modified Touring Series coming up here in just 60 minutes time. We'll see you guys later.
This broadcast is the copyrighted work of LSR TV and may not be rebroadcast, retranslated, or used in any form without the express written consent of 52 Media LLC and iRacing.com Motorsports Simulations. LSR TV would like to thank you for your support, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast.